Hello everyone. In this video, we talking about the computer networks and computer terminology related to the computer networks. Now, what is a computer networks? What is its tools? What is its medium? And what is the term related to the computer networks and internet that we will be seeing to the detail. So, see computer networks. So, firstly, see what is a computer network that we have to see. So, we interconnect the computers to sharing a resources or sharing a data. So a computer network is an interconnection among two or more than two computers. We connected each other with some medium or with some physical connection or without physical some wireless connection to allow to share the data or share the resource. That's about computer network. So we combine or we connect the network to share some resources or sharing some data. So we see with some network device, we will connect so many nodes with the in a singular network or a multiple network. The basic aim of the computer network is to we interconnected nodes or computers to share resources or share data among each other. So that is the main purpose of a computer networks. So let's see what are other things we will be see in the computer networks. So the basic aim of the computer network is to share the resources and share the data, share the software, share the hardware. Everything we can share with the help of computer networks. Now, how this computer network has taken place historically? So the networks concept basically derived in 1916 by US Department of Defense. They developed the one network that they called ARPANET, means Advanced Research Project Agency Network, for their uh, smaller network communication. This all the network concept derived from the ARPANET that initially started into the communication between University of California and Stanford Research Institute. They initially started network among these uh, two places for the exchange of resources. So these are the basic terminology derived for the network. Now see how many types of network and how we can configure that. So based on the geographical area or based on the data transfer rate or based on the requirement, we have derived some types of the network based on their configuration, based on their geographical distance. We derived some of the types of the network. The first is a PAN, personal area networks. The first type is a personal area network. That will be we call as our home network. So we call as a 4 to 5 device we connected into the singular network using some router or any physical medium. For example, at our home we have a laptop, mobile phones, we have a AC, we have some another digital device, we have a mobile phone. This all we have connected into. We have a musical speaker or we have some AI device, so that we will connect with the one singular internet network. It may be connected with the physical node or it may be connected with the wireless router. So that we call as a personal area network, which basically used in the home base 10 meter or we call as a 10 feet area around surrounding our houses. So these are the personal area network, which maybe lead to the 5 to 6 device more than number. Then the second type is a local area network, LAN. We call them LAN. So they are mostly used into the singular organization, one room area or more than one or hall structured area where they configure the physical network with the Ethernet cable wire. They are connected with the Ethernet wire or they may be connected with the some network connected device like a hub, switch, that type of device connected. There are number of nodes like number of 8 node, 4 node, 16 node, 30 node. Based on the length capacity, they derived some physical roaming network that we call as the local area network. The third type is a metropolitan area network, means MAN. So this type of network is a one type of, we has a uh, television cabling network is a one type of metropolitan area network, which considered to be surrounded into the entire city type or a town type geographical area. So that we call as a metropolitan area network. And the fourth type is a wide area network. The wide area network consider the larger geographical area. It may be spread across the country, spread across the space, across the earth, that we call as a wide area network. The internet is an example of a wide area network. Whenever we move toward the man WAN, so that configuration might be different. Some networks are connected with the wired, some are wireless, some are connected with the other medium, some are connected with the cable network, some are connected with the optical fiber, some are connected wirelessly, some are connected with the wire configuration. So this difference may be prevail in the MAN and WAN. So that are the four types of network: personal area network, local area network, metropolitan network, and WAN area network. So these all are the type of network. So see, personal area network, which will be used for the home is personal network, which may be work for the 10-meter geographical area. The purpose is the local area net may be a single room, floor, or offices, or maybe your computer, school labs or colleges lab. They are connected with the LAN area network. They are connected with the Ethernet cable, fiber optics, or maybe a Wi-Fi. Depend on their requirement. So let me see this type of one wire will be connected with the each and every node of the that local premises. Speed may be differ for the length, 10 Mbps to the 1000 Mbps. Then metropolitan area is the larger geographical area like a city or town, which may be extended till 30 to 40 kilometers. So land, or all the land will be combining or making a one man. So that may be expanded to 30 to 40 kilometers or one city geographical area, considering the man. And the WAN is a wider area network, means there may be spread across the geographical location or a different country or different continent. So these are the wide area network. Internet is the largest when we can consider internet is the largest WAN type net, which will be spread across the all the world or all the continent. So see, internet, there is maybe a network switch, there may be another network switch, there may be a one city of configuration, there may be another city of configuration, there may be a varies from one country to another country, one network to another country network. They are all are connected with the some network gates or network resource. Let's see the now we see the network devices. Now, what is the network devices? So, which will be used to configure or to connect the other resource with the network that we call as a network devices. So first we see the modem. What is the use of modem? So modem is a the name of the modem is a modulator demodulator. This basically used for the internet configuration in the telephone type analog lines. This basically used to apply your computer, enable your computer system with the network through the analog telephone lines. So your computer system will be connected with the modem. Your internet service will be provided by the modem. The analog signal or your computer is using a digital signature. So this modem will be convert that analog signal to the digital signal for use for the sender. So what it will be do? It will be conversion between analog signal to the digital signal for your computer use. Vice versa, whenever that send the message to the sender, that will be again convert analog signal to the digital. The vice versa, analog to the digital, and this will be digital to analog. These both are done by the modulator, demodulator. It will be referred to as a device used for conversion between analog signal and digital signal. So basically, work of a modem is to convert your internet signal, which is the analog, and for your computer, it will be a digital. So this conversion done by the modem. So they call as a modulator, demodulator. Both the thing done by the modem. The second device is, we see this type of modem. Uh, these are the analog signal sign. These are the digital signal. So modulation, what will be they perform in the modulation? In the modulation, they will be convert digital signal into the analog signal and vice versa. Demodulation, what they do? They convert analog to the digital. So demodulation means analog to again digital. So these are the process we call as a modulation, demodulation. That done by the device modem. This will be used whenever you use the telephone line ISP, telephone line network. Whenever you choose, that time we have to use a modem with your computer lines. The second is the Ethernet card. So we call it as a NIC card, Ethernet card, or sometimes we call it as a NIC card, network interface card, which will be attached with your motherboard in the computer. This already mounted, all the personal computer or all the laptop computer mounted Ethernet NIC card into the motherboard. So if this thing will be already mounted into the motherboard circuit, so you just have to attach with the RJ45 cable. You can enable the internet service with the RJ45 Ethernet cable. So these are already attached. We already know this will be attached with your personal computer or laptop computer or any computer which use enable the NIC adapter. So NIC comes with the one physical address that we call as a MAC address. Every NIC will come with the one physical address that we call as a MAC address, which will be drawn by the manufacturer. It will be never changed. MAC address always to be a unique and single time established physical address, which already drawn onto the motherboard NIC chip, which will be permanently used to identify the unique device of the issued by the manufacturer. So these are the MAC address. We sometimes often call as a physical address. Both are the similar thing. So your device is manufactured by the which organization? Your device is physically established into the which geographical area? That unique number given to that address given to the interface that we call as a physical or MAC address, which are almost we consider as a 12 digit. We will see about the MAC address. What is the MAC address? That we will see into this chapter only. So these are the MAC address. Through this NIC Ethernet servicing, we can achieve a transfer speed between 10 Mbps to 1 Gbps. These are the range of the different type of internet speed we will be achieving through the NIC network. Or we use to, for the connection, we use a RJ45 8-pin connector. That maybe before that there should be a 6-pin connector, but now we use a mostly Ethernet cable uses a 6-pin connector. That's point we call as the RJ45 cable. This used to enable the Ethernet network. They're having a 8 cables attached in this pin that we call as the RJ45 connected. And these are the Ethernet cable that will be connected with the RJ45 pin connector. And this will be enable the internet services. They're having some color code inside that. Orange, green, blue, and other one for the white. There are mean different thing for this all the cable that will be uh, color coding scheme into the RJ45 cable. So we have to attach the jack to enable the Ethernet connection services. Now see the repeater, what we call it, where we use the repeater into the network or internet networking services. So repeater is a device which will be boost the signal. Our network or Ethernet has some certain limitation of the geographical to cover the geographical distance. Ethernet is the subspace of limitation to cover the thing. For that, for that, we have to boost signal at the certain amount of time to uh, travel further distance from that location. We have to boost their signal after some time of interval. So for that, we use a repeater as a device. So for that, we boost that signal after a some distance because the Ethernet cable has a limitation nearby 100 meter or a 90 meter limitation. After that, our signal become a beacon. For that, we have to boost again that signal and pass on to the larger distance. For that, we use a repeater. So repeater, what is do? It generate original signal and regenerate it. What it do? It stand beyond the limit and become a weak. That time it will be regenerate the signal and transmit it to the medium. The repeater is an analog device which works with the signal on the cables to which it is connected. The weakened signal appearing on the cable is regenerated and put back into the cable by the repeater. So mostly what is the work of the repeater? Repeater will be boost the weakened signal. So the signal which is weak due to the distance or any other reason that will be boosted by the repeater and again resend into the channel. So these are the work of the network device repeater. Then after we have a hub. Now what is the use of a Ethernet hub or we call it a simple hub? A hub is a device which will be used to connect multiple node into the network. We want to connect the multiple node or multiple computer into the network. That time we use a Ethernet hub. So these are connected with the Ethernet wires. Let me see this. There are so many switches plug over there where we configure multiple computer into the single network or we connect multiple node with the Ethernet cables. So number of maybe a hub maybe consist of 8 4 ports, of 8 ports, 16 ports, 32 ports, 60 ports based on the requirement. Mostly LAN type of network mostly use the hub type of uh, configuration. But the problem with the hub is that it only work in the single direction. At the same time, if the both the nodes sharing a signal or both the signal may be a collide, the problem of collision may be arise into the hub devices. So for that, we use one another device we call as a switch, similar to the hub, but it will be some smarter device to communicate between the multiple nodes. So what is the use of hub? We want to connect the multiple device with the network in the net. We can want to configure the network. That time we utilize the hub. Then we have see the switch. So switch is also similar to the hub. It is a network device and play the central role in the local LAN area network where we connect multiple node or multiple computer with the physical Ethernet cable into the switch. So the switch extract the destination address from the data packet and look it up into the table and see where to send the packet. So switch is a similar to hub, but the some smarter work to be done by the switch. So that we see the switches over there. These are the example of this type of cable we attached with the switches. So this also used to connect the multiple node or we want to configure a network like a LAN type of network. Mostly we use the switches or hubs in offices as well as our houses or colleges, schools. That type of network prefer switches to connect the multiple nodes into the singular network. Now see the router. Now, what is a router? So, router is similar to the network devices which will be used to connect the multiple device into the singular network as well as it will be used to transmit, analyze the data into the networks. So, smart router is some type of a smarter device than other all the network devices. Was router connect the local area network. Router has an advanced capability at is analyze. It analyze the data. It may be regenerate the packeting scheme. It may be divide if the load of the line transmission line is higher, then it will be retransmit with another routing path and it will be retransmitted. So there are it will be first receive the data, then analyze it, and it will be retransmit it. There are some smarter thing will be done by the router. Router mostly we use into the wireless network also. The router will be helpful into to configure wireless as well as the LAN. Both the configuration will be nowadays router are coming with both the facility. There are some of the LAN cable that you may be configure the network with the LAN or as well as we configure the network with the wireless technology, means Bluetooth or Wi-Fi. So this both the network configuration we can done with the help of router. The router can be wired or wireless, both the functionality come with the router. Router connect the incoming broadband lines from ISP. So whatever broadband lines or SAP or any type of internet service that depend on your requirement or depend on your ISP type of services that enable the internet services to the another device. We just plug and play to the router cable and we can provide the internet with the wireless as well as wired lines. This router connect to incoming broadband lines from ISP and convert them to digital data. There may be some converter between that ISP service provider and the router Ethernet that we call may call SAP or sometimes directly a fiber optic converter that will be placed between the ISP service and the router. That may be a router given by the ISP service provider that some use some converter. They provide the internet service with that converter, and that converter translate that internet service to the router, and through the router we can either choose the physical Ethernet cable for the internet services for our homey device, or we can also use the wireless internet services. So both the thing will be provided by the router for the network or internet connection. Now see the gateway. What is the use of gateway? So gateway is a gate between the multiple network. This thing we will till we see the single. We're talking about the singular network or a router or a LAN, router or a switch or a hub. We will considering a single geographical area or one room, one office or one hall or one floor. We're talking about one floor or one physical network through the LAN or a smaller personal network to the. But whenever we configure with the two different network or two LAN for the different purpose, so that time we use some because both the network use the different devices, different configuration, different type of topology, different type of routing method, different type of devices, different type of cable network, maybe a wired, maybe a wireless network. So that time the gateway work as a uh, medium to exchange the data or exchange the resources between two different network or maybe two similar network, but at place at the different geographical location. So gateway, what is it? So gateway is between an organization network to the outside world network of the internet. So that will be work of the gateway. When we considering a sharing or networking on the outer range of network means another network. Our network will be sharing or exchanging network with another, or we sharing a resource or a data with another network. So that time we use a gateway is a work between a one type of gatekeeper and work as a gatekeeper of our network with the another. Whenever we want to communicate with the outer of network means our outer of another network, more a limit of the our network. That time the gate work as a gatekeeper done by the gateway. So gateway will be work as a gatekeeper. So routing, beside that, what is the gateway do? Routing data packets. Gateway also maintain the information about host network, internal connection paths, and the identified path of the other remote network. Means what is a remote node? What is the address of a remote node? What is the IP address of the remote node? How much size it will be sent through the packet? Means routing, packaging, identification, IP configuration, all the networking, connection establishment, acknowledgement, all the thing to be done by the gateway. This also firewall, sometime it may be attached with the firewall. It may be a scrutinize the security resources through the gateway. It may be a software, hardware, or any type of gateway we can establish into the network. Let's see some here. There are a picture where there are two different network with a different IP range that was 10.0.00 having a these are the 5 PC similar to them. Another LAN is there. They're having a IP range is a 20.0. These are just the example. So this both the different network are connected with the gateway. This may be a talking about the two LAN, but it may be a vary from two, three, or multiple LAN with maybe a physical configuration, wired configuration, or wireless configuration. So this may be connected with the help of gateway. So gateway will be used to connect the multiple network or a remote network in the another network. So the firewall which will be prevail the unauthorized access from the another network that will maybe attached or maybe integrated with the your gateway devices. Gateway is a software, hardware, both the thing. Firewall similar to that software, hardware, both. Now networking topology. Now the way you connect the networking devices or networking node that we call as a topologies. Means how which type of connection you configure in your network that we call as a topologies. The way you connecting all the nodes of your LAN, WAN or any other form of network that will be use some topology or the way they connect the technology we call as a topology. There are certain type of topology which will be used, some of the limitation of that topology, some of the benefit of that topology. So depend on the user requirement or depend on the your want to arrangement of the network, we use a topology. So arrangement of a computer or other peripheral device into the network, we use some topology called mesh, ring, bus, star, tree. There are 5 to 6 type of topology which will be used to. So topology means the way we connect the nodes or of the network or the arrangement of a nodes or arrangement of a computer, the way we connect the nodes that we call as a topology. So there are certain type of topology are mesh, ring, bus, star, tree. So let's we see the formal way. What the way they are connected is a and what is the limitation of that top. So first we see the nowadays mostly using into the complex network is a mesh topology, where we connect every node with each another node in the network. Means every node will be have a physical medium with the another node. Means if we take as a node A, so if we have a four node A, B, C, D, four node into the network, means every network has a connected with the physical medium with each another node. Means A is connected with the B, A is connected with the C, A is connected with the D. Means every physical configuration with the each and another similar way to the B. B is connected with the A, B, C, D. Means all other node will physically connected with the B. Means each and every node connected with each another node with the physical medium. That time we choose that type of network topology is the mesh topology. Now, it will be maybe a good topology or it may be helpful into the failure fault, but it may be a very complex. Whenever we have a larger amount of traffic, that time this topology is a helpful, but is a wiring of this topology very complex and a cost is a very much high. So that's why this use it will have a limited requirement. So these are the mesh topology. Then we have a ring topology. So what is the use of ring topology? So we will connect our network node into the ring type circular. So that's are the picture of the ring topology. Where the data transmit into the unidirectional. Unidirectional means clockwise or anti-clock, counterclockwise. Means one node will be passed on the data to the second node, second, third, fourth. Means circular, one type of ring. They form the one type of ring into the network that we call as a ring topology. The problem is that this take a larger travel time. If I want to pass through the data from A to D or A to the means these are passing through the all other node and this reach to the destination node. Or the second problem is that if the rings one node get to be faulty or one node get to be at the failure point, the entire ring to be disrupted with that node. So these are the fault of the these are the one threads of the ring topology. If one node gets to be a failure, the entire ring to be get stuck or to be failed for the communication. Now bus topology. This is the simplest form of topology, means each and every node connected with the one type of bus type of wire, and all the data and resource will be data passes through each and every node of the network. So these are the bus topology. The any of the node connected to the bus. Every node will be connected with the bus into the tower. These are the less secure and less reliable because data is passed on to the each and every node of a network. So that's why if I want to send data from A to only D, the first node to the last node, but due to the bus topology, it will be traverse or transfer data to each and every node. So these are the less secure and less reliable. Then we have a star topology. In the star topology, we have one central hub. We consider one device called a central point node or central hub, which every data pass on through that central node. These are very effective and a good topology of each and node connected with the central device or a central hub or a switch where we pass on data through that central hub and then travels to our destination, source to destination. These are effective topology, but the point is that if our central node or the switch node or a main node get failed or maybe a central node to be a failure, that time our entire network to be totally taken. So these are about the star topology, where we put one device or one central node to communicate with the source and destination node. Then the last one is a tree and hybrid topology, where we combine multiple topology as per our use or requirement. We combine multiple topologies, one or more basic topology, and we hybrid it. Means as per our use of the different network or different LAN, we configure the topology which will be mix of two or three topologies. So that we call as a mesh or tree topology, where we take a benefit of the other topology as well. For example, there example given in the picture is example given of the picture is bus and star node. They are combining bus, this all the node has a central star topology, and they are combining with the bus topology. So these are the we call as hybrid topology. Then we see the so how we can identify the nodes in the network because we have a vast area of a network. If we think about the personal area, that may be connected with the 5 to 10 device. If we go with the LAN, so it may be connected with the 50, 100 or 200, or we call it one geographical limitational device. If we consider as a man, so we consider one town and city area. But when we consider as a WAN, so it's a wide area network, which may be uh, covering of the larger geographical continent or larger geographical area. So that time we have to identify each and device with the unique address or unique identity. So that's why we need some unique identity. So for that we have a two types of address. One is a MAC address, one is a IP address. So we already see the MAC address. Every computer nodes the circuit of a motherboard attached with the NIC network interface card. We will enable our Ethernet connection with this NIC card. Means every motherboard NIC comes with the one unique address, or we call as a physical address that we call as a MAC address, which will be drawn by the manufacturer. So that we call as a media access control or a MAC address. So that MAC address having a consist of 12-digit hexadecimal number. From that 6 digit will be a manufacturer ID and the later 6 digit will be a serial number represent the uniqueness of your device. Means MAC address or your physical address never to be changed into the your system. It remains the same. You go anywhere, the device go everywhere, that must be identified with their physical address. Means manufactured by the which company, this will be fall into the which geographical location, this will be done by the MAC address. This always to remain unique across the device used. These are never to be changed. That are these are a hexadecimal number, 12-digit hexadecimal number. From that first 6 digit, identify the manufacturer AU are unique value associated of a manufacturer, where the first 6 digit, six hexadecimal digit will be identify manufacturer ID, and remaining six is a unique serial number of that devices. Then the second address is a IP, means Internet Protocol address, which will be uniquely identified into the network for the network communication or sharing of resources. We to establish connection, we require a unique IP address of the another network devices to share the resources. So there's to be a every device has a IP address. It may be a vary from network to network, or it may be a change. So there are different classes and type of IP network. So there are version 4 means IPv4 scheme and IPv6 scheme. So we know that we have 32-bit, mostly older device, we have a 32-bit IP address. But nowadays that's consisting of portion of a four part of IP address, from 0 to 255, 0 to 255, there were host name, network ID, and there are consist of four part, which will be valued from 0 to 255, IPv4, which will be consisting from the 32-bit, and now we have a IPv6 scheme, which will be written into the hexadecimal code, which will be consist of a 132-bit, which will be around, the IPv4 scheme will be around more than 4.3 million IP addresses, but sorry, 4.3 billion IP addresses, but IPv6 will be consist of the larger amount of, I mean, it will be enough for the future requirement, where we use a hexadecimal 128-bit uh, consisting number in the IPv6. This type of scheme we call as these are the IPv6 address. These are the IPv4 address. There are different type of class and all the thing will be there into the IPv address. Class A, class B, class C, class D, class C. But that will be there into the networking detail into the IPv4. Now see, the other thing will be related to internet, web and internet thing. So thing which is available into the internet we call as the IoT, Internet of Things. From that we have a World Wide Web. So we configure all the network. Before that we have some information into the different computers. Now the what is the World Wide Web will be considering all the thing into the centralized server that we call as a World Wide page, where all the world server, network server will be connected through the one unique protocols or unique thing that we call as a World Wide Web, where Tim Berners-Lee developed the World Wide Web into the 1990, where they choose some similar fundamental to maintain the similarity among the world. They develop the web pages through the HTML language. So from that, the first thing is that all the web pages will be developed into the HTML language, means it will be uniquely readable, accessible among the world web browser. So for that, they are developed into the hypertext markup language, means HTML language. They use the URI, Uniform Resource Identifier, to identify the path or location of that address, and there is to be a URL, unique URL, which will be identify that web server address or web server location easily with the help of URI or URL. Then they use the similar protocol, that is the HTTP, Hypertext Transfer Protocol, the set of rules which will be used between the interlink when we exchanging a linked web pages from web browser. That time they follow the protocol HTTP and HTTPS. HTTPS stand for HTTP secure. So these are the things developed by the Tim Berners-Lee in 1990 to develop the World Wide Web, where everyone can access the World Wide Web uniquely. Then there is a domain name system. There has to be a domain name system. Now, what is the domain name system? The domain name system stands for DNS, which will be used to identify your web server with their IP address. Means every server have a unique IP. We already see the uniqueness will be identified with the IP address, but it is difficult for the user to remember that IP address because this to be a numerical. It is difficult to remember the numerical thing. So that's why they develop the DNS. So DNS, what is do by the DNS? DNS will be stored each IP with their concerned domain name. Each IP with their theoretical or text domain name. For that, first they search which this IP belong to the which domain, and they will be preferring to the user with the name. So first our domain will be converted to the IP, and IP will be give their domain to the proper textual name. So these are the thing of the domain name system. Each website is stored on the server which connected to the internet, which means each server has an IP address and that IP address has a domain name. Means they are find out the concerned IP with their concerned domain name. So these are the networking thing we will see till this. There are example of domain name. We will see some of the example of domain means every website has their every web server has their IP address with connected concerned domain name. Means this DNS will be find out. If we search into the NCRT, for example, if we search ncrt.nic.in, so means preferably there go to the DNS server and DNS server find out that IP address means this DNS belong to the which IP means which IP address of this DNS belong and they will be take out that IP and directly access that web server through the IP and vice versa. If you search with the IP address, they will be find out the DNS and the DNS will be referred to the web servers. So this means this one type of phone we call as a phone directory, our home phone directory. One this type of one IP directory we call as IP directory means every IP listed with a textual name that is called we call as a DNS because our human tendency is to easier remember is a text data means string data we will can easily remember but the numerical data is very typical to remembering. So for that, this DNS will be help out to search the concerned IP of that concerned DNS. So these are the some network terminology. We will see till it here. Some of the another term will be remaining. We will see into the next part. Thank you so much for tolerating me. I hope you will be like, appreciate my work. Kindly share this channel with your friend. There or there may be the person which will be need a knowledge of a networking or a basic overview of networking. This video will be. I hope that this video will be helpful to them. Thank you so much. Thank you for tolerating me. Thank you for hearing me. Thank you so much.